Of course, this is a pause here on JoyNews. You welcome back. Your comments are welcome. I will soon share some of these comments with the rest of the world. Now, the demolition of unauthorized structures at the Sakumono Ramsey site has resumed 2 months after the Greater Accra Regional Coordinating Council first launched the exercise to clear illegal buildings from waterlogged areas. Now, earlier today, city authorities backed by the police and the military task force returned to the site to continue tearing down structures erected on waterways and within protected wetland zones. Now, officials say the move is part of a broader effort to safeguard the ecological integrity of the Ramsey site, which plays a vital role as a wildlife habitat and natural buffer against flooding. Let me cross over to the place where the demolition is taking place. And my colleague, Kenneth Jesse, is on the ground and he joins us. So, Kenneth, I mean, you've been on this beat since morning. What can you report?
Well, Elton, so if our viewers can see, you can see that the demolition is currently ongoing. Several structures have already been pulled down. This demolition is a continuation of the one that was begun in May, which was spearheaded by the Greater Accra Regional Minister Linda Oklu, Tema West MCE as well, being part of it. Now, last 2 months when we came here, several structures were pulled down. Some of them were given timelines to vacate the place. Particular one was a church that was located on my right side. That church, they left the church, gave them an ultimatum, about a week's notice to leave the place. We came today and the people occupying that particular church have already left. Now, it is nothing new from what was started about 2 months ago when this demolition at the Ramsey site began. The Greater Accra Regional Minister Linda Oklu is here as well. Now, so far, there have been some resistance, especially from the chief of this area who has come here trying to resist the people who are demolishing these buildings. He says that a dialogue would have been the best solution to this issue instead of demolishing these structures. And of course, we will try and get to speak to the Greater Accra Regional Minister Linda Oklu and also the MCE for Tema West as well. But as we speak now, the demolition is ongoing. It started about 2 hours ago. Several structures have already been pulled down. Others have been given notices to vacate the place. They've been given notices. One of them is a lactating mother in this building. She lives there with a husband and a little baby. The Greater Accra Regional Minister says because of her condition, they've been given some time to vacate. We don't know the timeline yet, but we are trying to get closer to her and find out more. So that's what's currently happening here. There's heavy security presence. Of course, we have policemen and women who are all on site here at the Ramsey site here at Sakumono, trying to ensure that everyone who is participating in this particular exercise is some of the people who have raised objections. I'll hold the mic for you. What do you want to say?
Yeah, I'm Numo Agbe.
Let me hold it for you.
Agbe from Nungwa Traditional Council. What is going on is not good. NDC government is not trying at all because MPP government came here and marked the green belt for us that from this line nobody should develop again. Where you are is not in water. Here is not water. Even Achimota, even Adenta housing, there's flood there. So NDC government is not going out with us because we Nungwa voted more than any community in Accra.
But this is a Ramsey site, so the fact that you voted for this government does not mean that you should not do what is right.
We are not doing what is not right. What we are saying is it should come to the stool and talk to the youth because you cannot demolish some people's property like that. At least there must be a understanding. They should come to the stool or they should come to the owners to talk to us. Because if I've given some property to someone here, how can you come there and you demolish? See the money they have destroying. If you said you are you are in good governance, This is not what you're supposed to do.
Okay, thank you. That's one of the disgruntled youth in this area who are saying that a dialogue would have been the best solution instead of demolishing the various structures here. And we try to get the regional minister. Okay, we try to get closer to the regional minister to find out more from her what has really been happening here. We started about 2 hours. Minister went to Parliament to support Irabna Obin, who is the newly sworn-in member of Parliament for Ablekuma North constituency. So the exercise did not start early, as it used to about 2 months ago when it began. But as we speak now, it is currently ongoing, but it has faced a bit of difficulties, as you heard. You heard moments ago about people objecting to certain things. And of course, we've seen crowds gathered here. A number of people are gathered here. We do not know why they've gathered there. But of course, we'll get closer and try to find out from them why they have gathered here, whether they're trying to stall the demolition exercise as they've planned, or whether they are having a authorities who have come here. So far, that is what is happening. And it's interesting to know that in all of this, though, constructions are still ongoing. To my left, to my right, to my north, to the south, you can see that people are continuing with the construction, regardless of the demolition exercise that is currently ongoing. A lot of the buildings are near completion. Some of them are about 50%. 70%, 80% completed. So really, this is the concentration of the disgruntled youth who have expressed dissatisfaction with really what has transpired so far. And we have the Director General of NADMO here, who is trying to engage the youth. Okay, we try to speak to. Yes. Director General, this is JoyNews. We just wanna have a few words with you. How has the exercise been so far?
So far, so good. Fortunately for us, we have some of the youth from the community. As you saw me talking to them, it is natural that if you have a property that is being destroyed, you will feel hurt. That anger we understand. But this is a flagship program. A program that is meant for the good of the whole nation, not just individuals. You see, when you are thinking about the well-being of a nation, you don't consider individuals. That's why if you vote and the winner, it takes maybe just one vote. Just one vote, and then they declare him as winner. The reason is that majority of the people think that that is the right thing to do. So we are thinking about the general good of Ghana, not individuals. Our brothers and sisters who find themselves in this situation, maybe it's not their fault, but they have found themselves in a situation that we need to sacrifice their interests for the interest of the nation. That's what we are asking them. Like I'm talking to them. They are my children too. I have children like them. So I'm not here to hurt anybody. I'm only here to ensure that the law takes its course.
That means that the demolition exercise will go on regardless of what happens.
Demolition exercise, I want to assure you, is not only here. After this Sakumono site, we are going to Klagon. We go to Adenta, Abuk, so many places. It's nationwide. And there is a program, the president has a vision why we are doing this. It's not just for demolition's sake. After that, this site will be turned to something that the people themselves who are agitating today will be happy that we did what we are doing.
Are you confident that you're going to complete the exercise here today, or you continue tomorrow?
Oh, tomorrow it will continue. We cannot finish today. As you can see, we expected 2 machines here. One couldn't come because of the location. And so by tomorrow it will be here, and then the work can speed up.
Would you say that you were ill prepared, because we can see that some of the structures have been left while others have been pulled down, and as you've mentioned, even one of the machines was not here. Were you ill prepared?
No, it's not that we're ill prepared. Like I said, the machine, was doing some demolition somewhere. We expected them to finish and come and join us. Unfortunately, they are still on that work. So they'll finish by today, and tomorrow the second machine will be joining. Talking about buildings, I don't think we are leaving out any building. Which one? So you see where we started from. You see where we started from. We began from a place. We were given a clear outline by the Forestry Commission. And so what we are doing is to clear, if you are here and they are destroying this building, it tells you that where you are, you must pack your things if you have some valuables inside the building. So we are only clearing the line, the outline, to give a clear demarcation of where this exercise is going to take place, or the scope of the work. So those here, naturally, the buildings will go down. It's just that we don't have the speed today, like I said. The other machine will leave Adenta, yes, Adenta, they are doing some work there. And they will join us tomorrow. The speed will be added to what we are doing today. I believe that tomorrow we should be able to clear all these places.
Thank you very much. I want to speak to you, so if you can come here so that we can speak to you briefly. This is the chief of the area. The Director General of NADMO says he's had a series of engagements with you. Are you satisfied with what he's told you?
I'm not satisfied. But
why?
The reason being, if he said that it's directly from the presidency, so they are come to demolish the whole area, that is where I'm not satisfied. And I've asked him that we want to do a demonstration, and he was advising us that we couldn't do that. We don't have to do the demonstration, because if we do the demonstration, it will bring problem or tension to the area. And I was asking him that no, we have to do, so that at least our people will know that we fought, but we couldn't finish. And he said no. That is why I'm not satisfied with what he's saying.
Do you have any property here?
I have a property here.
Has it been pulled down?
Oh yes. I have a buildings here that they have pulled them down. I have a palace that I'm building that they have pulled it down.
But as a chief, why would you build on a Ramsar site?
When you see, this is why I get problem with you people. When they say Ramsar site, I don't understand it.
They say this is a Ramsar site.
MF Junction. Come to here, all is Ramsar site. But
not?
It's Ramsar site. But they give to MF Estate, he built on it. They give to Celebrity Golf, and he has built estate on it. They give to Bonavista, and he has built. Isn't that place is not Ramsar site? Oh, that place is not Ramsar site.
So you want them to pull those buildings down?
That buildings down. They should put that buildings down, so that you know that they have taken the Ramsar site.
They are doing their job.
But if they have left that place and they said that here is the Ramsar site, no, that's what I don't understand them. No. That is what I don't understand for them.
Okay. Thank you very much. That's the chief of this area who has also raised objections to the exercise that is currently ongoing. And of course, the NADMO boss spoke to us earlier, telling us that he's spoken to the people. And if you can see from my face, I've been soaked in the dust that has emitted from the buildings that have been pulled down. That shows you the magnitude of the exercise that is currently ongoing. And we've been assured by the NADMO director that this is going to continue until all the demarcated sites that they want to pull down are done. And then regardless of the opposition from the youth of this area, the NADMO boss says they will continue with the exercise, and it will not end at this site right now. As you can see right now, there's a bit of a misunderstanding between them and the military officers here. Of course, they've been fiercely resisting this particular demolition for the past 2.5 or so hours, trying to tell authorities that these buildings should not be pulled down, trying to tell authorities that dialogue is the only way. They've also mentioned that this is not the only Ramsar site that should be pulled down. If they are pulling down buildings on Ramsar site, they should pull down buildings at places that are Ramsar sites, but that are not considered waterlogged areas. So that is really what the situation here is at the moment. We've been trying to engage the Greater Accra Regional Minister, but we're told that she's currently indisposed. That is why we've not been able to speak to her. But as you can see right now, the military and the NADMO officials are having a misunderstanding there. We don't know what really is going on, but this has been going on for quite a while now. So these are the scenes. These are the scenes that are currently unfolding here.
So you've been watching live visuals from the Sakumono Ramsar site. The Greater Accra Regional Coordinating Council, together with NADMO, the police and the military, they are undertaking a demolition exercise. They are pulling down buildings according to them are cited in the waterways, and that is what we bring you this afternoon. Some of those who are affected say that the exercise is illegal, is unjust, because some other areas in similar conditions have been left untouched while there's a common site. But you heard the NADMO officer say that they are pulling down every building identified within the Ramsar site. The reason why this exercise is ongoing. This is the second time that such an exercise is taking place this year, 6 months into the administration of the NDs. We'll take you back to the place because those affected are unhappy with the exercise, even though it's still ongoing. When we have live, the feed is stable, we'll take you live there and then we'll hear you more. But let's stay a little longer with us, also connected to housing, because housing is a very important subject. There are growing calls for the enforcement of the Real Estate Agency Act 2020 as more rent seekers fall victim to fraudulent agents. The law, largely dormant since its passage, requires all agents to be licensed. Now, anyone operating without a license commits a criminal offense and faces a fine of at least 5,000 penalty units or 5 to 10 years in prison or both. We'll hear from the Rent Control Department shortly, but first, just months into his wedding, Bright Ewusi thought he had found a perfect home, a modest 2-bedroom to start life with his bride. Now, he paid 19,000 cedis to a rental agent and a man introduced as a landlord. But when it was time to move in, Bright discovered the painful truth. His new home was actually a movie house. Noella Yali has more in this report.
I'm not a man, but most men preparing to get married will tell you that one of the first things they want to secure is a home, a place to start life with your partners. Now imagine diligently saving up to 19,500 Ghana cedis, only to be swindled by the very people you trusted to give you that home. Now that's the story of Bright Ewusi.
It began with hope. Bright Ewusi, a hard-working young man, had saved diligently to secure a new beginning with his girlfriend.
Around that time, I was about getting married. I was preparing to get married, and then by then I was living in a chamber and hall. So I went online. I saw this 2-bedroom apartment at the Achimota area. The guy I got in contact with was the agent. I think the apartment was going for a 2,000, and then I asked for a reduction of 1,500. So the agent told me that I can come and then view the apartment. Okay.
The agent first took Bright to inspect the 2-bedroom apartment. It seemed perfect, clean, well kept, just what he wanted.
It was a story building with people in the house. Okay. And when I was entering the house, I saw some caretaker at the entrance of the apartment. I even greeted him. Then I think my apartment was upstairs. So the agent said that the owner of the apartment does not live there. He lives at North Kanishin. So it means that if I want to make payment, we would have to go and meet the landlord. Then I can make a payment.
Once Bright expressed interest, the agent offered to introduce him to the supposed landlord at his residence.
The man comes across as a very, very responsible man. Very responsible. He was wearing a blue T-shirt with a trowel, with a shoe, and he had a coat with Bible.
As expected, the meeting took place, but under rather unusual circumstances. In total, Bright paid 18,000 Ghana cedis advance payment, plus 1,500 Ghana cedis for air conditioners to be fixed. The deal was done, or so he thought.
He's supposed to give me my tenancy agreement, but I have to go, come the next day, and then come for the tenancy agreement because I can see he's in a rush. I actually gave him cash.
Okay.
So I made the payments. He gave me a receipt. They moved just when...
Right after collecting the money?
Right after collecting the money, they moved on a very top speed.
Well, the Rent Control Department, the Public Relations Officer, Emmanuel, has been explaining why the department is unable to resolve some of these complaints.
Fortunately for us, there is a Real Estate Agency Council that was born out of Real Estate Agency Act 220. That is Act 1047. This council is also under the Ministry of Works and Housing and Water Resources. So we are assisted, if I should call.
Okay.
This law was passed in 2020, as is indicated. And a council and a board was set up during the last administration. They started putting their things together to have a full implementation of this law or this act. Unfortunately, they couldn't finish. So a new board and a new CEO has been set up to make sure the full implementation of this Act 1047. So this is where we are now, as far as the regulation of agents and brokers are concerned.
And so, if I understand you, this act would only have been enforced by this commission that you say was born out of your agency. Is this it?
Yes, so they are responsible for the implementation of this Real Estate Agency Act. So the head, as has been enshrined in the Act, is the Chief Executive Officer of the Real Estate Agency Council.
Okay.
So just as I mentioned, they are putting their things in order. They've started meeting stakeholders so that they can buy their input for the implementation of this Real Estate Agency Act.
Confirm to me that indeed this would be after 5 years since it was set up?
Yes, so the law was passed in 2020, just as it's been indicated on the Act.
Okay. And in this 5 years, what immediate steps has the rent control been taking to at least protect rent seekers like my friend Bright here?
Yes, so before this law was passed, we were using the Rent Act, which is the 1963 Act, the Act 220. And in this Act, it recognizes the duties or the functions of agents in particular. What is in the Act, the Rent Act, is the fees and charges that they do. And the law, that is the Act 220 Act, prescribes only 5% of the services that they render. So if a landlord contracts you to go and look for somebody to come and dwell or live in his premises, after paying the rent advance, the landlord is expected to give you 5% of the rent advance that you issue. It's not in our law that you charge 10% from the tenant and charge 10% from the landlord, and even go ahead and be charging what they call moving fees. So these are contrary to the Act.
Of course, this is a very sad situation for those who've been swindled by persons who claim to be agents for landlords who want to rent out their property. And this is the reason why we are having the second clinic of the EcoBank JoyNews Habitat Fair between this Friday and Sunday, 25th and 27th of July 2025 at the Tema EcoBank Community 7 traffic light. You want to make a date, go out and get the expert advice on everything housing, from land to housing to the things that you really need to have in your home. And it's this Friday till Sunday at Tema Community 7, just around the EcoBank roundabout. Now, the Attorney General and Minister for Justice, Dr. Dominic Ayine, has discontinued the case between the Republic and Dr. Kwabena Duffuor, along with 7 others linked to the financial sector cleanup. Now, a statement issued by the Attorney General and cited by JoyNews explains that the decision is based on government's recovery of 60% of the alleged losses, meeting its set threshold for satisfactory restitution. And we've got a statement that just came through from the Minister for Justice and Attorney General, and the statement says that it referenced the case Kwabena Duffuor versus others, part of a broader set of prosecution arising out of the financial sector cleanup, and the Attorney General has entered into a nolle prosequi in a case of the Republic versus Kwabena Duffuor. Whilst the exercise of this prosecutorial discretion requires no explanation under law, the Attorney General, in the spirit of accountability and transparency, considers it appropriate to provide the public with rationale behind this particular decision. And so there are some, and the statements, as you may recall, the Republic versus Kwabena Duffuor, 7 others, it is part of a broader set of prosecutions arising out of the financial sector cleanup, which the state has been undertaken since the year 2018. And so the central objective of these prosecutions, according to the statement, has been to ensure accountability for public funds and, more importantly, recover losses occasioned to the state through various alleged acts of financial impropriety. And in pursuit of this objective, the Office of the AG, in collaboration with other relevant state agencies, established a threshold of 60% recovery of the alleged losses to the state as condition for reconsidering prosecution in specific cases. So following prolonged negotiation and engagement, the accused persons, that is the Republic versus Dr. Kwabena Duffuor and 7 others, have met this recovery threshold. Accordingly, in furtherance of the public interest and considering the significant recoveries made for the state, the Honorable Attorney General has satisfied himself that continuing with the prosecution would not serve any additional public purpose. This decision, however, does not imply an absence of wrongdoing nor a vindication of any conduct. This is pragmatic steps in line with the overarching national interest of recovering state resources. The AG remains resolute, according to the statement, in its commitment to upholding the rule of law, protecting the public purse, and pursuing justice in all matters of national importance. This is the statement that the Attorney General issued in discontinuing this particular case. Now, let me bring in an anti-graft campaigner, Adam Sinanu. Mr. Sinanu, good afternoon. Welcome to the program. Does this send the right signal in our fight against corruption and a push for accountability?
Well, it's good to know that the Attorney General is desirous of transparency and accountability, and so is letting us know what has transpired. However, it's a tricky one. I think that questions will be asked on how the threshold of 60% was agreed upon. In my mind, perhaps if this had been left for some neutral group or entity to determine, or if they had been referencing, say, international best practice regarding assets and illicit finance flow recoveries, perhaps that would have been more comfortable. The 40% seems a little high to my mind, thinking that you just paid 60% out of it. Why didn't we go for 70%? That's a question in my mind. And I think that we would also want some additional clarity on, therefore, how much exactly has been paid.
Right.
Was this a plea bargain? What figures are we talking about actually? So whilst we appreciate this effort, I would say there's much more information that is required for us to be comfortable. Otherwise, the optics is not very clear especially where it appears that Mr. Dufour has some relationship with the NDC in the past. Therefore, one is wondering, is this just an effort to clear him? I think that the AG needs to provide additional information for us and for our minds and hearts to be set at ease.
In fact, I mean, I'm with you on this matter, because even though the AG has provided some clarity on why the office filed this nollie prosequi, there are key issues that we need. For example, how much money is involved? Dr. Dufour and the 7 others, how much of money the state is seeking to recover from them? How much has been paid? In fact, I'm reading on the Facebook page of Suleiman Abrahama, and he says that, dear Justice Sai, and this is a Deputy Attorney General he is referencing, please, I need further explanation for your 3rd and 4th points. Does it mean that if Kofi Enama, for example, stole or misappropriated 100 million cedis of state funds and are facing prosecution, you will or may discontinue prosecution if you are able to recover up to 60 million plus, or the stolen or misappropriated funds from Kofi Enama? Please explain, because this may make stealing or misappropriation of state funds a very attractive venture. After all, if you are caught, all you need to do is to possibly avoid prosecution by the Attorney General to refund 60% of the loot and keep the rest of the 40 million to enjoy in freedom. This is Suleiman's comments on social media.
Yeah. It's the same thoughts I had when I read it. That this is setting a precedent that becomes quite dangerous. It does not serve the best interest of the state, because any other group comes, is you just do the calculation. How much would the 40% be? Okay, let's enter, and say, well, we've raised this, therefore the 40%. And depending on what it is, they get away with it. So they need to give us further and better particulars. Under what circumstances have they said this threshold 60? First of all, why 60? Why not 70? Why not 80? And what is it about this specific case? Which other cases are they looking at immediately? Why is this case the first to be highlighted as where we are setting in motion the process to say it's a nollie prosequi, and therefore we are not going to pursue any additional this? What has transpired and how much is involved? Is it a plea bargain? We appreciate the effort, but the optics are still not clear. And I agree with Suleimana that, look, they need to come back with further and better particulars, especially such that we don't set a precedent that makes the state lose more resources going forward. Because anybody can do the calculation and decide that, look, if I'm left with 40%, I don't mind losing the 60% because I'll be comfortable.
And this government is on a campaign to recover all loot. Is it not an insult to that drive?
Yes. So is the reason why perhaps if this was referencing or international best practice, most times when they're looking at this recovery, there's a threshold of about 60%. If you're putting something, and all of us know this was not just arbitrary and it was not in relation to this specific case. It's not because of the individual and the past history. So even though they provided information, it's not as compelling as would have been the case if we had known who was involved in establishing the 60%. How many other similar cases do they have? What amount has actually been paid? And why have they been satisfied in this instance, the 60%? Because if you say that's a threshold, it sounds like a minimum threshold.
Right.
Minimum threshold means that you could go higher. So why are we just accepting the minimum threshold? There's still quite substantive questions to be answered if we are all to feel comfortable with the trajectory.
So for you, the statement is not enough. There must be some level of clarity. For example, now that we've recovered 60, the person can go and enjoy the 40 peacefully. Is that what it is?
Yes. We want to understand why 60. Why have they stuck? A minimum threshold doesn't mean that you apply it as soon as the circumstances allow. You want to justify why you're going the minimum. Why not 70? Why not 80? And why is it this case? How many other cases do they have where they are going to apply this threshold at this point? And what exactly has been paid? Has the money already been retrieved? Isn't that just saying substantive retrieval or whatever, how they couched it, it's not enough. We want to know exactly what has been recovered and why they sticking with the minimum threshold. How does this then, factor future cases where persons will just do the trajectory, do the extrapolation and say, oh, as for the 40%, this is enough for me. So even if I let go of the 60%, so I think that the AG may want to come back with further and better particulars on how many cases are they considering in this space. Was it a plea bargain? How much has been retrieved? And how do we apply this type of conclusion when we have similar cases in the future? Looking at the 40%, which for me is a very substantive amount if people are going to be let go and they still have the 40% hanging there. Why should we forgo the 40%? They have to give us some additional explanations.
Of course, many questions begging for answers. Thank you very much, Adam Senanu. And of course, this, you haven't heard the last of this. I'm sure the AG will have to come out more and then explain more, because there are so many questions that we have on this particular matter. But there are more stories on myjoyonline.com if you just pay a visit. And that's the story we're just talking about. AG discontinues case involving Kwabena for 7 others over Unibank collapse. There's also Supreme Court quashes Kevin Taylor. We spoke to his lawyer. You heard the explanation. Afenyo Markham replaced by Deputy Patricia Piaget on delegation to the ECOWAS Parliament minority to petition Mahama on July 24 on issues of great public concern. What exactly are they talking about? Go on myjoyonline.com and read all of it. Folks, that's our show for today. For whatever you are up to in the hours ahead, I do hope it's profitable. My name is Elton Gobe. Same time tomorrow, we shall be here to bring another exciting edition of The Pulse. Until then, take care and good evening.